Okay, guys, I'm here to talk about. If you haven't watched my first video, you should probably go watch that one so you don't get confused. But this is a video that is going to be breaking down the Godzilla Monster Apocalypse prequel novel to the Netflix series. Netflix for us, Japan standard theatrical release, of course. But what I'm going to be doing in these videos is basically breaking down. I don't know if this is an. I'll say this right off the bat. If you don't want to be spoiled for this book, and maybe you're waiting till the translation comes out. If it, like I said, not trying to deter you because we might get it, but we just don't know. But I'm just being honest. I mean, if you don't know when the movie's going to come on DVD and Blu-ray in outside of Japan, who knows when we'll get things like the tie-in promotional material such as books and the manga. We know the toys are available, but I'm not sure if the books will get the same big international treatment. So what I want to do is give fans who want to know more about this, and of course maybe don't like reading, to perhaps listen in and help me describe the book's premise to. Like I said, I don't know if this is an entire plot or this is just bits and pieces of it. I'm just going off the Godzilla Wiki website, and I want to give people a taste of what is in this story. And hopefully, maybe I'll generate enough interest on YouTube to convince Toho to get a translation going for us, because I would love to have it. So far, from what I've heard, there's only been uh, fan translations. But getting into it, this is episode 1. I will call it the beginning of the beginning. So apparently, we've already been over this about a million times, prior to the 2030s, because as the movie does take place in the future, obviously a lot of future technology. Prior to all that and Godzilla appearing, probably monsters have been appearing on Earth regularly, usually being a mutation of some sort of something that's already on Earth. So the Picanti had already been dealing with people like Varan and them. Now, in 2030, Kamiba's corpse was found on Odo Island on May 29th, and this was the first cross between humanity and Godzilla. A guy who coincidentally has the last name Yamane, a professor of strategic biology, named the monster Godzilla, dragon god of the island. Now, this is interesting for several reasons because, first off, this ties into Tokyo SOS and the original Godzilla film. Now, Godzilla Tokyo SOS also had Godzilla killing Kamibas, or Kamiba, however you want to pronounce it. Kamiba, who is from the movie, I believe it was called I can't believe I'm blanking on the name of the movie right now. The name of the movie was a very odd film, but it was a Toho film from the glorious 60s era. Monsters from Space, something like that. I get Google this so I don't mess this up for you guys. I want to be completely accurate on this, at least as far as I can. Okay, it was called Space Amoeba. Space Amoeba. But yeah, if you don't know, the premise in that movie was basically that on an island, uh, space alien type creature comes and mutates. The creatures live in an island. One of them being, like, I believe, a crab-like creature. One of them a turtle-like creature, which became Kamibas. And there was a third one, Gazora, and he was a squid-like creature. He was a squid. I mean, it became a squid-like mutant. We've seen, like I said, it's strange. It's interesting how this movie is still being mentioned so much in Toho's history, because Kamibas was in Godzilla Tokyo SOS, as they said, and then Gazora, the squid, was in Godzilla Final Wars, but only via stock footage, not a new version of him. And then, of course, any fan knows that Odo Island is the island where Godzilla first appeared, and we've seen it. We've seen it in the original Godzilla. We saw it again in Godzilla, Mothra King Giant Monster All Out Attack, where Godzilla attacked the island for the first time. It was strangely absent, though, from Shin Godzilla, but they were starting a brand new slate. So that's interesting. So that's the first ever recorded sign of Godzilla in the Godzilla Monster Planet universe, or I was calling from now on Godzilla Earth. And says later on, an increasing number of missing vessels were reported, including a nuclear submarine of the U.S. Army. Now, the interesting thing is it goes in detail about how Godzilla's power works, even more so than in the film. It says that there was a number of unidentified underwater eruption-like phenomenons, and reports of horizontal lighting, obviously Godzilla's spines, gradually moving fast, approaching the continent of North America, and reports of corpses of monsters have been recorded in the Pacific Ocean. So once again, yeah, it sounds like Godzilla Tokyo SOS, and it kind of sounds like GMK once again, because it makes you think of that scene in GMK. Remember the very opening where they see Godzilla's glowing spines going behind the sea rocks. Great opening to a great movie, and excuse me, I'm glad they put that into the book. Now, as it goes on to explain, at the time, the U.S. Army had a strong anti-kaiju defense line in L.A., but Godzilla apparently shot at Varan, and it created an EMP, as explained in the movie, which decimated the humanity. Now, this is where things get really interesting, because apparently in one single night, I got to see how this is done in the book. Apparently, Anguirus, Varan, and Baragon all appear at L.A., but they were all running away from Godzilla, apparently. That sounds so badass. I mean, this Godzilla, first of all, I don't know if I want to say evil, but hostile was definitely a choice word here. Just hunting down everybody, poor monsters, just trying to get out of the way. And it goes on to explain that Godzilla apparently killed all three of them. Anguirus, Varan, and Baragon, all dead. Well, that's really sad. So Godzilla started attacking humanity. He destroyed LA with casualties of 8.7 million people. Oh, damn, that's terrible. Bunker busting bombs by the U.S. Army did not work at all. Bunker busting bombs, so basically kind of like the ones we saw in Shin Godzilla, the ones that actually did hurt Godzilla briefly. You know, these are bombs that are humongous and weigh several thousand tons, and are usually guided by lasers to hit the target very accurately. It's also funny to know, once again, pulling from the movies, that apparently a U.S. Army official said that it doesn't matter what angle we hit Godzilla at, it's not going to work. So that, of course, is tying into the scene in GMK where they keep dropping the big bombs and Godzilla's walking through the valley, and then they keep saying, you gotta hit it from the side. And then a pilot, of course, says, I don't think it's gonna make any difference. Then Godzilla, of course, blows them all up. Badass movie. I love to keep referencing a lot of Millennium movies, especially GMK. It says after that, there was another incident in San Francisco. And then Godzilla apparently was gone for a little while, being pursued by nuclear submarines who were then all destroyed. It says that the first video footage was taken by Andy A. Antonio from LA, and that was the first one ever kept Godzilla on footage in their history. Andy was filming to earn money for his mother, who was suffering from cancer. Andy instantly became rich for his efforts and was able to educate his children while also getting a ticket for the spaceship Oratia to evacuate the planet with his elderly son. He was also able to receive medical treatment for severe radioactive exposure due to Godzilla's arrival and actions. Unfortunately, it passed me 2 weeks after Akira's interview with him. If I don't know if I covered this, Akira Sakai or Sakaki, I'm not sure how to say that, but it's called Akira. But Akira is the one going around interviewing all the people about all these events, like World War Z. If you don't know what I mean by that, you should definitely watch the first, like, explain the whole World War Z, Godzilla, Monster Apocalypse relationship. So yeah, that's the first year. I want to go in by years so that way they're not too long. But yeah, that already sounds pretty damn interesting. Godzilla once again appearing in the U.S. Something that's only happened, I believe, Godzilla Destroy All Monsters. He was definitely there. He was in New York. And then, of course, Godzilla 14, Godzilla was in San Francisco. And if you want to include Iguana, he was in New York also, Manhattan specifically. So it's kind of interesting to see Godzilla in New York again, this time LA. And, of course, the appearance of Anguirus, Varan, Baragon, and once again, Kamibas as a corpse. And yeah, the lesson of the day, Godzilla is devastating. He kills all three of those monsters, destroys LA utterly. And, well, what can I say? What an entrance. That would have made a great movie in itself. This should have been a movie. I'm telling you, it's great. I can't say animated series because now the whole thing is reanimated. So I would just love to have seen this as a movie. I think this could have been a movie in itself. But Check out part 2 coming up. That is going to be focused on the events of year 2031.